All right. Hey, Sarah, I'm going to let you lead us off. I keep being the dominant voice on this podcast, and
Get though, right? I don't know. But everybody, welcome back to another episode of Arachnoiditis Unfiltered with our other co-host, Steve Lovelace. And we have a special guest coming on from Dadcast. His name is Nik Martin and here to share his journey with us. So welcome.
Hey, how's it going,
well,
guys?
yeah, it's
It's
going
going.
good. And you know what? I want to give a little bit of backstory about how Nick and I engage with Dadcast podcast, and I know Dadcast podcast is kind of on hiatus, and we'll get to that
Sort of.
eventually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Interesting what we've done. But yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, yeah. I look forward to peeling back the layers on that. But when I first did my first podcast, and ironically enough, Nick, earlier today we interviewed the lady that introduced me to podcasting initially back in 2022. So it's been like 3.5 years. And so we covered that. And then I think you guys were the second podcast that I did.
And I've never done one, just to interject that. This is my
Yeah.
first one.
Right.
Yeah, Sarah and I have only been doing this for a little over 30 days now, but I'm a veteran of the podcasting world from an interview perspective. But I reached out to the Dadcast podcast a few years ago, shared my story, and as we were doing the interview, I found out that Nick had come across my story at some time in the past,
Mm.
and it had inspired him. And I mean, that brings things full circle for me, because it means that as I'm sharing my story, it's touching at least one person and making
Right.
a difference. And, this has kind of come full circle where now you're the interviewee and I'm the interviewer. So
Right.
we've circled the block. So, when we first met, you were undergoing some significant health issues. And
Yeah.
I know I followed that journey on your Instagram through Grind Lifestyle One, and even through the Dadcast podcast as well. But um, let's start out by taking us through the beginning of that journey. First, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then let's start with that journey, because I really want to dig
Yeah.
into it because it's very
So yeah,
interesting.
so basically, like I've been a concert promoter for 25 years and always loved like the music side of stuff. I have a bunch of friends in the music industry and kind of just dabbled in that. Then COVID hit, and my wife and I were having a baby right as COVID hit, and he ended up in the NICU. And with all the restrictions and stuff, I wasn't allowed to see him. So I went almost 3 months without seeing my newborn baby. So JP, the other host, and I decided to start a podcast, and JP's wife was going through breast cancer at the exact same time all this was happening. So he wasn't allowed to see her in the hospital. So there was all these, like, it was just weird. So we just kind of got together, blew off some steam. The first guest we had was, oh man, we started out with a bunch of local guys first, and then the first famous person we had on was Brett Young and Stormy Warren. So country music superstar Brett Young and Stormy Warren. Within 24 hours, our podcast jumped into like the top 5% of all podcasts in the country.
Wow.
And then we did like, I think close to 200 episodes of just the random who's who of music, athletes, actors. Steve was on, which was very cool. So it's just always been pushing people to get out of their comfort zones, do cool things, but focusing on doing this while being a dad.
Yeah.
So that's what Dadcast was. I was down in Vegas. We were doing a bunch of meetings in Vegas, and this is probably 2 years into Dadcast. And I wasn't feeling right when I got on the plane, and I'm like, man, something's just not right. I had the weirdest headache I've ever had. We get to Vegas. I'm in a meeting at like 9 o'clock at night, and all of a sudden, the left side of my body just goes completely numb. I forget where I'm at. I start mumbling. I can't form a sentence. I'm drooling. It was awful. And I had stopped drinking at this point too. So I'm not drunk. I'm not hadn't been partying all day like you normally would be in Vegas. Like it was just strictly down there for business and getting some stuff handled. And I fall off the chair. JP and our other partner get me back to my hotel room. I call my wife and I'm like, hey, I don't want to go to the hospital here. I probably should, but I don't want to. So I took some Tylenol PMs bunch of ibuprofen, went to sleep. She got me on a plane the next morning, got to my doctor. They said basically the Tylenol PMs is what pretty much saved me, which is kind of weird
Really?
when you have a stroke. So I get to the doctor. The doctor's like, "You had a pretty bad stroke." Like I couldn't feel the left side of my body for almost 6 months. I couldn't pick up the kids. I couldn't lift weights. It was rough. Worked through that and had eventually had a neck surgery. They put in a plate in my neck to protect my neck, so it was like hanging on by a thread. And if I got hit the right way, it would definitely kill me. So that got fixed. They found a leak in my spine, so I've been leaking spinal fluid for oh god, like almost 2 years, and they still couldn't find out where the leak was at. Just know that they knew that I had no fluid in my spine. There's no fluid still protecting my brain at this point. So
What?
it causes massive headaches and stuff. And so after the surgery, I was like, all right, I'm feeling halfway decent. And
Sorry.
I,
Right, that's the second time today.
I was doing okay. And then my back has been hurting off and on since all this happened. And I've had back pain just from sports injuries from earlier on in life. And so I went to the doctor, found out I had a bunch of growths in my spine. So got a surgery scheduled. They did the surgery, removed all the growths, and I'm like, okay, cool. Within an hour of the surgery, I was literally up, standing up straight, walking around the hospital. I'm like, yeah, this is good. I'm feeling halfway normal again. And did okay until about 6 months ago. And then all of a sudden I started getting sick again, really tired, just mood swings, like all kinds of weird stuff. And then the last 4 5 weeks, I was at the gym about 5 weeks ago, and I was mid bench press, blacked out, lost the feeling in my left arm again. Bar came down on my chest, rolled into my neck.
Wow.
Went to the doctor last week, and they verified, yeah, you had another stroke. So I have 30% strength in my left arm at this point. So like I can't do what I was doing 6 weeks ago. And I've had just a massive migraine since. So that's why I ended up missing the last time I was scheduled to be on here. I fell asleep and I just couldn't wake up. There's days
Totally.
where my wife has a really hard time waking me up because I'm so tired, so lethargic, and just it's bad.
We know the feeling. We know.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
really rough. It's been weird. I mean, nothing compared to like what you've gone through, Steve. Like it's just
Well, it's all relative, right? I mean,
Right. Yeah.
it's about life disruption, and you have
yeah.
kids, right? So, um,
Yeah. So yeah, my wife and I we have our 5-year-old, we have a 2-year-old, and we're now fostering a newborn.
I saw that.
So
That's
we have
amazing.
he's been with us for almost 6 months now. As soon as like he was born, we've had him. So yeah, so we're doing that whole thing, kind of going through the process of working with DHS, trying to figure out, navigate how all that works. And so dealing with
That's
that, and then dealing with the pain, and seeing just like the look on my 5-year-old and my 2-year-old's face is like when I can't do stuff, it's devastating. So
Yeah, and
yeah, we
I
know.
mean, when we started this podcast, it was all about we struggled over not arachnoiditis, which is the disease that we have. We struggled over the word that would follow, and the one that really kept jumping to the top was unfiltered, because you don't need to hide this type of life from the rest of the public. And the reason I
mhm.
say that is because I watch you on your Instagram and all your posts. Dude, you are so much like us with your positivity. And I can't get enough of it because I know what you're going through. I watched the struggle. And now that I hear, even more about it, it's like, dang, I mean, I'm looking up to
Wow.
you at this point.
Yeah.
And that means a lot to know that you're pushing through this, especially when you have small kids, because it is tough when you're sidelined with a chronic illness and you can't participate with the kids that are looking at you going, come on, dad.
Yeah.
That's very, very difficult. And we want to humanize the fact that, you know, you must have an amazing wife. I mean, honestly, I can
Yeah.
only imagine the slack that she has to pick up, because I lived it, right?
Yeah.
It's, um, God love you for, and then taking on a foster child as well. Dude, you're my hero.
Yeah, that's an interesting story too. Like, so my brother-in-law is dating, his girlfriend is the sister of the mom of this baby. The baby, my brother-in-law and his girlfriend have the baby's older brother. So the baby has a 9-year-old brother. He's had him for 4 years, and the mom has been here and there. Like I think she's seen him maybe 5 times in the last 4 years. So when
Yeah.
they found out the bio mom was pregnant, they asked my brother-in-law to take the baby. He's like, "Nah, I can't handle a newborn. I just don't know how to do it." So he called us, and my wife and I are like, "Yeah, why not? Like, we'll do it."
Right.
and
That's awesome.
You're recently
and yeah,
trained.
we kind of knew like the emotional stuff going into fostering a baby, because there's always that chance that, and you kind of want the bio parents to get their stuff figured out and get on the right path and be a parent. But also you got to like realize too, it's like, is this in the best interest of the baby? Like,
Yeah.
I'm looking at ways, can I change DHS? Like there's a lot of things that are like, are we harming the kids more by
Yeah.
subjecting them to the situations that they've been subjected to and continuing to do that? And just, it's eye opening to see, okay, we've got this newborn. The mom has shown up for 2 visits now out of the last 18 that she's supposed to have. And yeah, the dad is in and out of jail all the time. Same situation. He doesn't really care. He shows up when they need some kind of assistance or whatever. So but the baby, even though he's 5 months old, he gets stressed out. So it's like, is it worth the emotional damage you're doing to these kids to subject them to that situation of life when you have a loving family that's stable and can
Yeah.
basically shield them from all that stuff? Like, I wish there was something in place that puts the bio parents accountable for what they're doing, and like, okay, you need to be sober for 2 years, and show a track record of, you have your own house, you're sober, you're working, you got your life together, then do the reintegration thing. Not, oh,
No,
I've
I
been sober for
100%
a week.
agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
yeah.
Just off note, I looked into doing the same thing that you're doing, in other words, and because I only could have my one and only child, and then this all happened after. So I had hysterectomy, and my only choice was to adopt or to foster.
Mhm.
But I couldn't do it personally. I mean, it wasn't a relative relation like yours, but it was very hard because they literally, the whole point of doing it was like, even if these children were physically or sexually abused, the whole system is to get the parents back involved. So I was like, I can't get that. I mean, and maybe that was naive on my part, but I felt like, they're going to be my child at that point. I might have them for 10 years, and then I'm going to see them placed back into this really bad situation, possibly,
Right.
but
Yeah.
knowing that, yeah, so I give you a
Yeah,
lot of props
that's
for
the
that.
like the really hard part about it is, I mean, Oregon's a little different. So like after 18 months of him being in our custody, we can adopt him, and then the bio parents, that whole reintegration thing goes away. That's off the table. Um, we are open to the idea of, yes, we want him to know who his bio parents are.
Yeah,
Yes, if they're
yeah, yeah.
sober, we do want him to meet them. But if they're not sober,
Responsibly,
and
right?
it's
Responsibly, right? Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So yeah, it's yeah, it's been a journey, definitely. And so it's like, and there's a lot of things I'm looking at on my end of like, okay, can I use my platform to, and I do to a certain extent of like, hey, this is what fostering's about. This is this, but now can I use it to change how things are done? Is like,
Right, right.
is there's some stuff that's like, we have issues with society, and a lot of it is because we're making these issues happen for how we're dealing with this type of stuff. These
Right.
kids are growing up with really bad situations, and we're putting them back into it, giving them no hope, showing them it's okay, because you're going to get whatever you want, you're going to be taken care of if you go down this path. And it's like, it needs
Yeah,
to stop at some point.
Yeah.
yeah,
And I
So
can honestly, I grew up without a dad. My dad left my family when I was 4, and we had limited contact with him until '69. It was, and I remember this because it was the year of the moon landing. I was in Arkansas at his house. He had custody, and it was like the most miserable experience. He abused me physically. Um, I had a nail that got driven straight through my leg. By it was an accident. Nobody did it on purpose, but my dad was of the mindset to go walk it off, right? And what ended up happening is that I ended up getting a tetanus shot. I ended up getting blood poisoning. My legs swelled. I could have lost my leg as a result of this guy just being a total crap father. But there are certain circumstances when a bad influence does not need to be in your life for a reason. And he was one of those influences that I did not need in my life. And I turned out so much better as a result, I think, of him not being involved. Because he, in the end, when he called me, I was in my 30s and I get a call and he says, "Hey, this is your dad." And I'm like, at the back of my mind, I'm like, going, "You're not my dad. You're a guy that I know, but you're not my
Yeah.
dad." Right. There's no
Right.
connection there. And he's like, "I've got cancer. I'm dying. I'm not going to get chemo. So it's inevitable that my days are numbered. Would you like to come and visit?" And I did. And the saddest thing about it was, we rolled out to this lake, and I mean, it's a very picturesque, hallmark moment. You're sitting on an overview of a lake, and you're connected with your dad that's been estranged for 20 some years. And he just started in making excuses for his behavior. And I was like, and I was not the wisest guy at this time. I think I was in maybe my late 20s, early 30, maybe 30. And I said, the difference between you and me is that I will take responsibility for everything I do in my life. I'm not going to blame you for it, but you're the best excuse that I could ever have if I ever wanted that. So all that to say that, you know, you you're probably in the right place at the right time for this young child, because they need that influence. And dude, I tell you, again, I go back to your positivity and the fact that you're working through. I know you're going to be out there lifting weights, even though you lost 30% of
I already did it this morning. Yeah.
yeah, okay. And keep on keeping on, because
Yeah.
you're going to make those neural connections, and you never know when it's going to rewire
Right.
and kind of
Rewire,
bring
yeah.
back full circle.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, I admire that so much. And
I have some questions regarding your, everything. I mean, it was a lot that you just talked about. So you said you had 2 strokes at this point, right?
That we know of, yeah.
Right,
That we
that we
can
know of.
pinpoint to where it happened, yeah.
Did you do like TPA or anything? I mean, you talked about Tylenol PM. I'm like, wow, what's Tylenol PM for strokes? I mean, I worked as an ER and critical care trauma
I
team
have
nurse
no
for,
idea. All I know is I had a massive headache when they were taking me to my room, so we stopped at a kiosk. I grabbed some Tylenol PM,
hmm,
took like 3 of them and like 3 ibuprofen, and I guess what it did is it like did
the
something to my
inflammation.
blood or whatever, and got me to calm down, because I was very like anxious, and like I
Sure.
remember as it was happening and as I was going to my room, I was super anxious, super scared. My blood pressure was probably through the roof, so the doctor said it definitely lowered my blood pressure and helped with the anxiety, because essentially it just knocked me out.
Yeah,
Um,
right. Allowed your body
so
to rest
and
until
they
you
said
can.
that's a lot of what they would do. Like if I went to the hospital, they would just knock me out to figure out what's going on, slow everything down, and come up with a game plan to figure out how they can fix me or whatever, which we're still trying to figure out.
Still trying to figure out the underlying
Yeah.
cause for the strokes then?
well, the
Yeah,
one
I
thing.
have no idea. I didn't have high blood pressure honestly until, and this is going to sound, I hate talking about this, but I got the vaccine. I didn't have high blood pressure until the vaccine.
Yeah, we're
So
with you on that. Trust me when I tell you. So,
So I have no, I've asked. I'm like, is there any correlation to the vaccine and to my
yeah.
issues? Everything went downhill within 30 days of getting the vaccine,
Yeah, my
and the
husband had 2
only
heart
reason.
stents about 2 months post. He was 40 at the time, very athletic, never had any history period. So yeah, the cardiologist told him that it was, blood clot in his heart,
Hmm.
99% to his LAD, the widowmaker. So
Yeah,
um they thought it was due to the vaccine or the virus. They bounce around that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my doctor said. Because I've had COVID 6 times myself, even though I'm vaccinated.
Yep.
My 5-year-old, poor little guy, my 5-year-old's had it like 6 or 7 times as well.
My gosh.
And yeah, and it's like, how? Like this is,
Yeah.
I thought it was a one and done thing. And,
Nope, it
no.
mutates and it just keeps going and going.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So, but yeah, I hate talking about that because some people are just like, "Oh, you're just crazy. It's not the
Right.
vaccine."
No, I mean,
But that's the only
Yeah.
thing different in my life is like
Yeah.
God. I was anti-vax until I took that vaccine. Like literally, that's the only thing the only
there
vaccine
are a
I've
lot
had
of
so
new
far.
studies out there regarding the incidence of cardiomyopathy, like
Mhm.
going up hundreds of percents. Like it's pretty profound. So
Yeah,
I can't say definitively, of course. Nobody's going to be able to do that, but
yeah. Who knows?
right.
Yeah.
I had been on a drug called lisinopril, and I couldn't tell you exactly what it does. I think it's for my cardiac.
Yeah.
And right after I got the and I'm brain frog. Sarah, help me out. Right after I got the shot, the immunization.
Yeah, the vaccine.
Yeah, the vaccine. Thank you. We have, and I know you know what brain fog's all about, Nick. So,
Yep.
Yeah, both of us today are really bad on that.
yeah.
Like,
So right after I got the vaccine, I had a reaction. Like half of my tongue like swelled up, and I couldn't talk. I couldn't swallow. It was really, really weird. It went away after a period of time. I saw like 4 different specialists. Nobody could tell me what was going on. It was like a week after I got the shot. And
Right.
then a couple of years later, I'm laying down on the couch. I'd fallen asleep and I woke up during the middle of the night. My entire tongue had swollen to the point where I couldn't swallow at all. So I roll into the ER and they're asking me, have you taken this? And I said, yes, I took lisinopril. And I apparently had some sort of reaction to it. And they gave me a huge shot of Benadryl, and they're like, yeah, you can't ever take this drug again. You'll get anaphylactic shock. You'll suffocate.
So was your blood pressure high? Is that why you were on? I mean, cardiac. I mean, they're going to try to keep your blood pressure as low as possible to prevent.
Yeah. No, honestly, I truly attribute it to, because I've been on it for so long up to that point, but it was the only thing, like you said, Nick, the only thing that I can attribute the change to in my lifestyle was that shot that I got.
Yeah.
And then,
and when I talked to the doctor, I've had one doctor that was like, it's really weird because it changes your DNA. It's your
well, it is. It's RNA. But Steve, too, you just had a clot in your heart in the stents. So now I'm like, well, my brain's going woo, because I think it's all sadly interrelated. I hate to say that, but
yeah, I had my 4th heart attack.
A little crazy, yeah. Oh. But who knows? But
right, who knows?
So tell us. So what's up? I looked at Dadcast. I think the last podcast you guys did was a little over almost a year ago, or maybe a year. Or so.
Yeah.
What's up there?
So basically, what happened is there's so many dad-centered podcasts now. So like when we came out, there were 3. Now there's hundreds, and it's like now you're fighting to be in that realm. Like, and we have access to all the athletes, musicians, actors, and stuff, but so does everybody else now for some reason. So we're kind of like, well, let's just rethink this. And so what eventually happened, I started the Grind Lifestyle podcast, and that's actually jumped leaps and bounds of over Dadcast. Like we have offers to monetize it and go exclusive with different companies that we're looking at. So there's all kinds of really cool things happening with that. And it could be that we have a couple of famous hosts on as part of it. The Grind Lifestyle brand in itself has grown so much. Like we've brought on Lucas Rossi, who won Rockstar Supernova 20 years ago. He fronted Tommy Lee's band. He's now a partner in this company. I have just a slew of other really big things that I can't talk about yet, but we were announcing some very, very big collaborations with one of the biggest rock stars on the planet.
Awesome.
It got leaked in the back end of stuff, so the podcast kind of blew up a little bit. We've been working on this for a while, but it's also turned into considerable more collaborations with our t-shirts and podcasting and all kinds of cool stuff. So
for those
I
of us
talked
that
with
don't know what that is, I don't know that one for whatever reason. The ground
the
lifestyle, what is
the
the
grind
base
lifestyle.
for grind?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
so grind lifestyle started out as my clothing brand, which is this. The
Oh, okay.
um
Cool.
That's my
and
favorite t-shirt, by the way.
it started out with me and two of my buddies. So it was me, the guitar player from Saving Abel, and our website guy Jesse Dugas, who does he was doing all of our website, our IT stuff. And it was just a passion project. Oh, we're gonna throw some fun stuff on a t-shirt, and we sold
Yeah.
a bunch of shirts at a couple of concerts. We're like, oh, cool, this is lucrative. We're making money. In the last 6 months, we ended up bringing on Chauncey Cochill, who is a renowned tattoo artist. He was on Ink Master. He designs all of our clothing now, redid our website. We've collabed with, I can tell you, we collabed with Lucas Rossi. So we have a Rockstar Supernova tie-in collab coming out. Every artist that we also started an artist management company within Grind Lifestyle. So we manage musicians all over the country. We use Bartlett's background of being in Saving Abel and selling 20 million records. And that, again, was only supposed to be managing his personal project, which is a new country project, which turned into now we've got 10 artists across the country that have various levels of success. Some are very successful, some are just baby bands, which has turned into lifted artist management under the umbrella of Grind Lifestyle. In the middle of all this, we're like, let's do a podcast and just talk about the music industry. We need to, talk about Bartlett's past. Let's talk about my past of being a concert promoter. I've done, buying concerts for 25 years. I've worked with everybody in the industry. I've managed bands 20 years ago that signed record deals, went on national tours. So we put all this info together, started everything. The podcast ended up taking off. We've had, it's the who's who of the music industry. Like a couple days ago, we had Brad Stewart from Saliva, the bass player, the original bass player from Shinedown. He was on the podcast. We've had Lucas Rossi on, the Devour the Days guys on. So just they're also in Pop Evil. So just a bunch of like A-list artists out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing Dadcast going to Grind.
So after a year of doing this, JP, so we talked to JP at the beginning, my other host in Dadcast, and he's like, "Nah, I'm just so busy. I want to just focus on Dadcast." And I wasn't able to get guests for Dadcast. Like nobody wanted to jump on anymore. So I was like, "All right, we need to rethink this." So about a month ago, I talked to JP again. I'm like, "Dude, we started this together. Let's end it together. Let's get back into it. Let's bring you into everything." So now he's a partner in the t-shirt company, the management company, the podcast. So we're kind of integrating everything that was Dadcast into Grind Lifestyle. And we're going to do one-off Dadcast episodes every now and then if we get a really cool special guest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or JP and I will just jump on and talk to each other about our experiences of raising our
dad
kids.
life. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically it. And it's just, and every day something new happens with Grind Lifestyle. It's really cool. It's like we'll get a phone call from a massive producer and they'll be like, "Hey, we heard you're working with this band. Do you want to have them on the podcast? Do you want to do a t-shirt with them? Do you want, it's really,
awesome,
really cool."
Right?
Yeah. I'm right now I'm developing a new band that they're putting hundreds of thousands of dollars behind them to promote, record, and within 6 months, these guys should be one of the biggest country bands you'll see touring. And it's just really crazy to see them go from nothing to wow, we're on the big stages and doing all the cool stuff. And so
awesome.
I mean, when you
sounds
see
like a really fun journey that you're going through. To see it all firsthand. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and then just trying to manage my time with family, and I've got to start. Traveling is going to be a big thing, and being sick, I haven't been able to travel the last 2 years, so that's been rough. I've been doing a lot of driving travel. I went down to California a couple of weeks ago and did a small tour with one of our guys, and it's
so is traveling for you? I mean, I know it's hard, right? Does it flare your back pain up?
Yeah, it flares the head. It's the headaches and the back pain. So yeah, so like if I fly, I'm down for a couple of days with a massive migraine. Like last night, I had to. One of my bands played our fair in our town, and I made it about 2 hours, and I I'm shot. Like as
Right.
soon
You're
as we're
done.
done, I'm gonna go take a nap and
Right.
kind of
Yeah.
recharge. And
It's a
but yeah,
struggle,
it's
that's
just
for sure.
it's terrible because like 6 years ago, I would be out till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning doing these
Doing it
shows.
all. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
making sure everybody was happy. It's now it's like I'm good for an hour, 2 hours tops, and I don't.
I
I
know
get
that
weird when
feeling.
I'm around people
Right.
now. I don't. I used to love being in front of people. I used to love emceeing shows and talking to hundreds and hundreds of people, if not thousands. Now I'm like, I don't want to be around people. My anxiety goes through the roof. I just, yeah, it's
I mean, that's honestly, that's any chronic disease or illness. It's very self isolating, and I mean, and it's self imposed, right? We do that to ourselves because I think a lot of it comes down to we don't want anybody to see us at our worst, see us struggle. I mean,
yeah.
uh, come come past the struggle, yes, but watching and visualizing it. And I think the one thing that I really like about what you've done along the way is that you've documented your journey with everything you've done, which is very important because you know we almost have to get past that self isolation and put it out there for others to learn from, to be
Mhm.
inspired by, and just to go, you know what, if this guy can do it. Although to look at you, you're a beast, man. We know you're going to get through it.
Yeah.
A big thing for me.
Yeah.
So one of my really good friends is the singer for Bowling for Soup, and you would think, a band like Bowling for Soup, they're happy all the time and like no mental health issues, right? Like the last 4 years, I have struggled so hard. Like there's been multiple times where I'm like, I should just be done. My wife would be happier if she didn't have to take care of me. My kids would be happier with a different dad. Like that's been a big struggle. Jarrett has been the one guy that was like, man, talk about it, get it out
Yeah.
there, talk about it. He bottled his stuff up for years, and now he's documenting what he's going through. And you think a fun pop punk band, like they're not always happy. So
Oh, they're
that
human
that's
too, you know?
another
Yeah.
passion project I'm working on with a couple of my buddies. Of we're starting a 501c of for men's mental health. Of
Oh,
hey,
good.
That's
talk
awesome.
about it. There's a big stigma where guys just don't talk about stuff. So like make it okay. And part of the deal is we're gonna have a certain call number for dudes only. You can call in, talk to another dude about what you're going through.
Yeah.
Concerts all over the country. I've got the buy-in from some very, very big rock stars to back this up and
Awesome.
perform and
I
jump
love
on
it.
and do promotional stuff for us and talk about it. It's just a big thing. This is like, we don't
Yeah,
there's like
talk therapy and like, just
yeah,
community,
yeah,
that togetherness feeling that you're not alone in it and other people go
yeah.
through it
We're
too.
setting up a toy drive for kids that have lost if their dads have committed suicide. A toy drive to help with families with that kind of stuff. So that's all in the works right now. One of my artists that I manage he's going to partner up with me on this project, and we already have a theme song for it. It's a really cool project that we're like super passionate about, and we'll hopefully have it kicked off in the next few months. And
Well,
Yeah,
hey,
I mean, that's great.
pull me into that orbit if you are so inclined, because I would love to be a positive resource for anybody out
okay,
there. You know me and
yeah,
my level of positivity.
yeah,
I think
definitely.
we run parallel with that, and I mean, Sarah and I. The whole thing with this is that we wanted to bring. Well, we in the Facebook groups that where we actually connected initially, it's so dark and so negative. Not all the time, but the vast majority is like people that are looking for answers with the worst things that they're experiencing, and you can just get dragged down by that. And so we wanted to open it up to a little more positivity. Even though we suffer, we find reasons to smile, we find reasons to laugh, and try to bring everybody else into our orbit,
Mhm.
just to make sure that there's a little bit of happiness despite all the darkness that you can
Right.
experience.
Right.
Yeah, I love that because when I was going through my divorce a couple of years ago, I was in such a dark place and I didn't know where to turn. I mean, when you're depressed, when you're when you're down in a dark hole like that, you're looking for somebody to help lead you out, to kind of grab you by the face and say, this is what we're going to do. This is where we're going, to the doctor, to therapy, to whatever, because you can't help yourself when you don't know that you need help because you're so far gone. Right.
Yeah.
And that's where, man, I mean, if you've been there, you know that road, and trust me, I've been there on a couple of different occasions, and I'm on a whole different trajectory right now, and I'm loving what I'm hearing with what you're doing. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
a lot. That's a lot too. You're putting a lot on yourself as your body's trying to heal and deal with, whatever's going on. So
I
I
find
commend
just
you for
staying busy, even if it's just sitting in
right,
in
like
front of my
this, right?
computer.
Yeah,
It's I'm not laying in bed thinking about how miserable I am or like how I'm a failure to everybody around me. It's like,
right,
at least with this, I'm accomplishing something. I'm getting something positive out in the world. It's like
right.
working with the
Making a
bands. It's like
difference
getting
somehow,
them to
right?
different levels is really cool. And
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
and
so
we all realize that, life is not permanent. It's temporary.
yeah,
Which actually kind of brings up, we lost a couple of legends this last week. We lost
man, yeah,
Ozzy. We lost Rhino. I
yeah,
mean, wow. That's, that kind of, it brings things into perspective as to, and then of course with, my heart attack and all the stuff that you're going through and all the stuff that Sarah's gone through, it's like life's short. So make the most of it. Don't bitch and moan, go out
yeah,
there and start kicking some ass and, doing the
yeah.
stuff that you're doing. I mean, you're, I hear the struggle, but then I hear this huge turkey plate of stuff that you have going on. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
I hope you don't spread yourself too thin. That's all.
No, no, and that's the cool thing with what we've got going is I have an incredible team. So everything that I've got, I'm building out. Like I have a media company that I'm building out right now. Monday, we're signing contracts with another partner to work on that for us. We're creating content for local businesses, pushing our local economy, and there's another income revenue on that, which I have basically three partners that are handling that for me. The 501c is going to be, I'll be very hands on with that as far as doing all that. Grind Lifestyle, I have 12 partners in that now. So
Wow.
everybody has a certain job they do. And it's just, everybody's promoting, everybody's doing something on the back end, and and everybody works really well together. So it's a really, really
That's
great team that
awesome.
I've built over the
Yeah,
last couple of
that's
years just to
super
keep everything
important
rolling.
too. Yeah,
Can't wait to
that's
see where
awesome.
it goes from here. I mean, that's like
Neither can
so
I.
exciting. Yeah.
I'm a little bummed about Ozzy though. Like we actually reached out to, I reached out to Jack Osborne,
Really.
and like we were like I was hoping we were going to be able to pull him and Ozzy on the pod. That was like my like a big dad cast thing for me. I had actually reached out to Jack probably 4 years ago, and going back and forth, and he's been super busy with his reality show that he's been doing, the travel thing, and
Mm.
then Ozzy's been sick for a while, and
Yeah,
just to see him do that final performance, like I was like, no way. There's no way he's gonna live through that performance. It's
Yeah.
like he's probably gonna die on stage, and that was just like the most incredible thing. Watching that concert was like, wow, that's a way to go out. Like you're
Yeah.
yeah,
doing
Tell
what
you,
you love doing with the people you love. Like, yeah,
yeah.
that was
been
incredible.
I've had Mama I'm Coming Home on constant play. That's my favorite. So, I mean, he's got several songs from back in the 90s. And of course, in the 80s,
Yeah.
Crazy Train came out, I think, when I was a freshman in college.
Hmm.
And, of course, I'm still a huge fan of Jakey Lee after he lost Randy Rhoads. And, Jakey stepped in, and he's just such a badass guitarist.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
do want to bring up one aspect of this. Did you see Dr. Grunch's not podcast, but her little video on Osborne? Anybody
Uh,
talking about
no.
basically just showing his mech surgery failure, in other words, and it caused his condition to worsen. So my point is, I guess none of us are. It's really important to get a second or third or 20th opinion before you just trust anybody. And I don't mean that bad to a doctor, right? I just mean we are all individually different, though we all have shared DNA, like there's underlying things. So I think it's really important if he can be botched, right? I think that's like a big wake up
They
call,
did their
right?
homework
Well,
before he had
him
that.
and Hulk Hogan too.
Yes,
Hulkster was doing
yeah,
great until he had that last surgery, and then all of a sudden,
Yeah.
right.
yeah.
It's
So
crazy.
you'd mentioned your CSF leaks, and I want to bring this to just kind of a FYI. CSF leaks and spinal surgery can lead to the disease that we have, arachnoiditis.
Okay.
Not
So
to scare you, but
yeah,
it can be in part. Yeah.
they're both contributors to being able to develop it. So what I want to say is just keep an eye out for like tingles. I mean, yours was in cervical, right? Yours,
My surgery.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I've had so first one was in my neck. They went in through the front of my neck.
Okay,
The second one was in the middle of my back, and I have a scar like that big. The
okay.
third one's going to be in my lower back.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that we're scheduling now. The next thing they're doing is they're gonna shoot before they do the next surgery. They have to inject my spine with a nerve blocker so they can figure out so basically my whole right side of my body is gonna go completely numb. And like they'll knock me out for this, and my right side of my body will be numb. I think he said for 24 hours, and that's how they figure out which nerves are still working and which aren't working. Because they're like, I have
Like a
like
nerve
back
block is what they're doing. Nerve block.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the back pain is unreal. But what's happening is though they're calling it stenosis, and so it's like bone spurs are growing, but they've never seen them grow as fast as the ones I have are growing. So
Do
like
you
when they
have
did this last
degenerative
back
disc
surgery,
disease?
huh?
Do you have degenerative disc disease?
They haven't said that yet. I have bulging discs from pretty much all over my back, so
Mm.
that's another issue that's got to get fixed.
Nick, we
The
got to get your MRI, like the disc, and have it sent to a specialist before you have your next surgery. I'm just saying. I mean, well,
yeah
get another opinion, right? Like what I would
yeah
hate for
I've
you to
gone
have another
through.
surgery because
Yeah,
it'll
so
work.
I meet with so it goes through like my primary doctor, it goes through the surgeon. I've met with Stanford and OHSU have all looked at everything that's going on. And basically they've all recommended the surgeon that's doing all the work is where it's led to.
So all
The
arrows.
other stuff though that's going on, there's the like the brain stuff like my when they did the last brain scan they did, there's white spots all over my brain, so it looks like I have like I'm an 80-year-old with Alzheimer's. Basically it's like it's what.
Matter changes. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, so it's like what Alzheimer's patients get, so they're monitoring that because I'll have days where I'll just absolutely forget what I'm doing. I'll go to Walmart.
Hey, I got a question. I just
Yeah.
watched an episode, maybe, and if anybody's listening and you know his symptoms or everything he's been through, please input. But there is it's called Diagnosis on Netflix. Have you ever watched it by chance? With Dr.
Uh-uh.
Saunders, New York Times. If you ever get a minute to watch it, there's one episode in particular that makes me think of what you're going through, but anything's possible, but watch it. I
Okay.
believe, if I'm not getting them crossed, that what it ended up being, were you ever with the military army? Nothing. You've never been overseas or exposed? Okay. It might be
I've what
unrelated,
I've
but
been to Mexico, that's about it.
right.
I went to Tijuana. I went surfing for like a month.
Oh, that's what did it. No, I'm just kidding.
What
No.
happens in Tijuana stays in Tijuana.
I ate some brownies down there. That's
Should have been helpful, come on.
Those same brownies are now legal in Oklahoma. So
oh man, yeah. No, I was 18 years old, and I was like, I had to get out of Oregon, and my best friend's like, let's go to Tijuana and go surfing. I'm like, all right, let's go.
cool.
Sounds fun. Yeah.
We ended up living on the beach for a month.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
good and
amazing.
bad, but
Like,
yeah.
yeah, we just lived in a tent on the beach and surfed every day, and then reality hit. I called home, and my mom's like, hey, the girl you hooked up with before you left is having a baby. So I was like, crap. I'm heading
Wow.
back.
Yeah. No more nomadic
Yeah.
lifestyle. right?
Yeah. So yeah, that was the extent of my fun young party days was.
You know what? Now you're kind of living the life despite all the health setbacks. Um,
Yeah.
so things, I'd say what's the whole adage? The God closes one door, he opens another one, right? So you've got multiples open now. That is so awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, and the cool thing is just being an adult and like not doing. There's when I did this when I was younger, like doing the shows and stuff when I was younger. It was more about how hard I could party, who I'm going to hang out with, how much
Right.
money am I going to make. It was all for the wrong reasons. So now it's like, you put on a concert. It's like you're giving people 2 hours to escape reality and have a good time and smile and not think about all of the crazy stuff that's going on.
yeah,
And it took me to like stop drinking and grow up a little bit to realize like, there's other reasons to do this. And, finding out all of my friends that grew up in the music industry, like there's countless of famous musicians that you think would be like the biggest party animals. We literally after a show will sit around and talk about our kids and drink tea.
Yeah.
it's
Right. Yeah.
it's incredible. Like we'll eat sushi and drink tea and just talk about our kids. Like that
How
that's
times have
how.
changed, right?
I mean,
Yeah, that's
normal
that's our
people.
party now. Like that's
I
so.
think the exception to that would probably be Tommy Lee. I think he's probably going to be the wild.
He has down days too, I don't know.
Yeah.
Sure.
He's
Well,
getting older now too.
I
But
read this article on Slash how he was taking his kids to school and dropping them off, doing the whole dad thing. And I'm like, how cool would it be for your dad to be Slash? Just like dropping you off at
right.
school, see you later,
So
all your
yeah,
friends.
Slash. So Slash actually produced one of my buddy's bands. Like he played
Really?
guitar for him, and so I actually got to hang out with him for about a week. The dude is the most unrock star guy you would ever imagine. He's
That's kind
just
of what
like
I've
us.
heard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
when he steps on stage with Guns N' Roses or his projects, that's the rock star. Off stage, he's a dad. He's a normal, everyday, very
Person.
sweet
Right.
guy,
Yeah.
and
yeah.
you're
Right.
just
Right.
like, wow, this is insane.
And I think that's what a lot of people overlook is that, they see the glitz, they see the glamour, they see the stage and all the bright lights, and they're like, man,
Yeah,
people. No, I mean, at the end of the day, we put on our pants one leg at a time. Nobody's that
yeah,
special to do it any different than the rest of us. But, and I like that they can be normalized like that. And I'm sure
hmm
they like that as well because, I mean, maybe early on he was living that life, let's be honest, Guns N' Roses set the standard back in the day.
yeah. Motley
Right
Crue.
after
I
Motley
mean,
Crue.
yeah. Well, and
It
it's
is
and it's funny.
true.
Like, I mean, you talk to guys like Nikki Six now. Like, Nikki's completely sober, and it's just there's guidelines of who can be around him. Machine Gun Kelly, another one. Like
Yeah,
his drummer is a friend of mine, and he could not be in the band until he was completely sober, went through rehab, no drinking, no drugs, and then they allowed him back in the band. And
Awesome.
that's
Yeah.
I think it's amazing. It's like
Yeah.
you're these where we have too many of these stars that like they think that they're invincible and
yeah,
they go out and do all the crazy stuff and lose all their money or they die, and it's just like
yeah,
Yeah. It's
finally
sad.
there people are guiding them in the right directions of there's more to it than that.
yeah.
Yep.
I
Right.
think a lot of that pressure is self-imposed too. When you get out there and you feel like you have to be a certain way, at a certain
Yeah,
time, um, versus kind of like this. There's no pressure online, but if we were in the same room, there'd be, you'd feel a little bit of pressure
You'd
with
be a
yeah,
little anxious there.
yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah.
anyway, so Nick, man, we got to get you fixed, brother.
I know. I have another. I actually have a doctor's appointment at 3:15 today to go
Oh, do you
talk
really?
about. Yeah, I
Okay.
got to follow up on the headache situation to see
Yeah,
what's going on here.
that's the CSF, man. I mean, you have brain sag, right? So you're
Yeah.
feeling that. Um, yeah, I had a CSF leak last year, and they were going to go in and put a shunt in to
hmm
try to normalize the pressure. And luckily for me, it self sealed while I was in the hospital. But man, the headache was just
Yeah. like an
Man,
ice pick to your
so
brain.
yes, it
Yeah.
was so
Yeah,
bad.
this one has been different. So the first one was like the ice pick to the brain. This one literally feels like somebody is just squeezing like
Squeezing
right
your head.
as
Oh
hard
yeah.
as they can, and
Yeah,
my
like
eyeballs are gonna pop
it's
out of
gonna
my
pop
head.
off.
It's
Yeah.
almost scary. It's like it almost feels like I can't get enough blood to my brain. Like it's one of those like you're conscious of knowing what's happening, and that's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I know exactly what you mean. Oh.
Yeah, and there's times where I can't lay on my back. I feels like I have a basketball in my spine and it's pushing against my chest, and it makes it hard to breathe. So there's all kinds of weird, crazy
Wow. Well,
craziness going on.
when you figure it out, let me know, because we're gonna have to get you back and talk about this, because this has been, people with our disease, with arachnoiditis, can go years and years and years being misdiagnosed.
Decades.
Yeah.
Decades. And I'm
And
talking to Mayo Clinic, Cleveland Clinic. I'm talking
Yeah,
like really renowned doctors all over the world I've been to. It took
yeah,
over a decade to just get the diagnoses.
yeah.
And many failed
I recently
surgeries.
talked to a health professional, and her husband had lymphoma, and they kept misdiagnosing it. All of the exact same symptoms I have. So I've started the process of like, we need to get certain blood tests. We need to do this. Unfortunately, we don't do those blood testing here. So I have to find there's a certain test that they don't test for where I'm at. So
Okay.
I have to go to like a bigger hospital or something. So I'm trying to get a referral to go get that done, because there's like I have certain markers, like my white blood cells are extremely elevated. My testosterone level is in like the 3 to 4,000 range, where typically it should be in like the 800 range.
Right.
It's
Yeah. Super
so
high.
yeah, so we're trying to figure out all these. There's all kinds of weird stuff that comes back on the blood test. Um, there's
Kind of
one other
sounds like
weird one too.
neuroinflammation going on to me, but that's just my insight. I'm not
Yeah,
a doctor.
have they said anything about the pituitary at all?
Right. Adrenal axis,
Yeah, they've
pituitary.
checked they've checked all that stuff, and they every time that I say, "Hey, I need you to see if I have this. Do I have this?"
That's exhausting.
And I
Like
got
looking
and
for a
my
needle
friend
in a
like,
haystack.
stop
I know.
WebMDing it. I'm like, I'm not WebMDing it. I'm
Yeah.
actually reaching out through like the with the podcast. I have access to doctors
Right.
all over the country. I have friends that have gone through stuff that are very famous that set me up with their doctors that are very expensive that I can't afford. And I get a Zoom consultation and go through. Okay, this is what's going on here. These are the tests I have. Let them log into my chart thing, and they can go through all my blood work and stuff. And so that's how I get these. Okay, ask for this test. Ask for this. Ask for that.
Yeah.
And
It's a rabbit hole.
unfortunately, we're a little tiny town in Oregon where we don't have the training here. We don't have the testing facilities to test for everything.
So I'll just throw it out there. Years ago, I had a bone marrow biopsy similar to what you're going through because my white count was up, my neutrophils, I had left shift, right shift, my hormones all off like crazy. But the bone marrow biopsy came back, essentially normal. So, but what I'm saying is they do something called a FISH test. I don't
Okay,
know if it's for lymphoma specifically, but I'll have to look that up and get back to you. But
right,
I mean, a bone marrow biopsy would be your ultimate rollout. But
yeah.
again, that's a puncture into your back. So,
Yeah,
Yet another
like,
yeah.
procedure.
It's I've had like 6 spinal taps. It's kind of like whatever at this point. I just want to live. I don't really care
right,
what they have to do.
right.
So
I know.
Yeah, but I
I'm
mean,
definitely getting used to being poked and prodded at.
yeah.
I go
But
in,
this
I give blood once a week, and it's like 8 vials of blood. It's like, how am I walking out of here? It's,
And
Yeah.
despite all that, you're laughing, you're smiling. I mean, again, that's Sarah and myself.
yeah, it's
Like, you
yeah.
can't,
If you
and
would have
we
talked to me 2.5 years ago when I was first going through all this, I wasn't smiling, I wasn't
no.
happy, wasn't laughing. It was
That's I mean,
scary. Yeah.
that's
Mm,
Now it's
everybody at
just
the
like
beginning of that
this is my
journey.
life, so now I just got to figure out how to live through it. And
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the key,
Right.
right? You have to
That's it.
figure that out, and that's only something that you can do. Nobody can really teach you, but you
yeah,
can learn from the life lessons of others.
right.
Uh,
And having a good support system. So yeah, my wife is absolutely amazing and puts up with a lot of stuff and takes the brunt of a lot of the house stuff and life stuff. And
yeah,
Yeah. That's great,
so
though, that you have her,
yeah,
have a
I
good
love her.
support system. That's awesome.
All right, man. Well, I tell you what, we're going to keep up with Grind Lifestyle. I love the brand, and to know that it's just really starting to take off is really awesome. It could be the new Von Dutch, right? You just never know. It's gonna.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to compare myself to Von Dutch.
No, well, no, not the way it ended.
I don't know if you watched the Netflix documentary on Von Dutch.
The atmospheric rise was like
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
No, we'll keep
yeah.
things on the up and up, and we won't
There you go.
degrade women and all that kind of stuff. We'll try to keep the kindness going.
Exactly. So I'm going to encourage everybody. We're going to put your the website in our notes as we
Awesome.
publish this. Please go, and you know what? If you're grinding in life with a disease like all three of us are, get the Grind Lifestyle. Grab a t-shirt, put it on, look in the mirror, and when you see the word grind, that means you want to go out and push yourself despite all the limitations that you may be feeling that day. So let's go help promote Nik and Grind Lifestyle. Let's look and see what's going to happen with all these bands. Keep us posted on the bands, because I love live music and love the fact that through you I connected with Brian Hopkins, another
Yeah,
brother. Sent him a text earlier.
yeah. Brian's partner in Grind Lifestyle. He's a part
Oh,
owner of it. So
that's
yeah,
awesome. I
he's the
saw that.
co-host on the podcast. So
Yeah,
yeah,
awesome. He
yeah,
lost his younger brother earlier,
yeah,
like a couple of weeks ago, and I just saw that on your Instagram. And I sent him a note saying, "Hey, man, I'm so sorry to hear this. That's
yeah.
tough." He's another absolute rock star of a human being, much like you and JP, and you know we're all doing good things in the world, man. I'm so glad that we were able to connect. Thank you so much for coming on, spend some time with us. I know that life's rough for you, and we're praying that you get a diagnosis and we can get you fixed.
Yep, praying for your appointment today, as a matter of fact. So
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah,
Yeah. The doctor I'm going to is amazing. She is finally someone that asked a lot of questions, and the first time I met with her, she went through from the beginning and spent like 3 hours with me just going through what do you remember and all that kind of stuff. So
that's awesome. Yeah,
yeah,
we need people like that.
All right,
yeah,
until next
yeah.
time.
This was fun.
Yeah,
This was
thanks,
good.
brother. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
awesome. All right,
See you.
thanks, guys.
You bet.